Hey, you did it. You found it. You found the podcast version of the show. It's Writer Radio. Here are the things you need to know. We stream live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time at writerradio.com. 2, you can find every episode on YouTube, youtube.com/@writerradio. We're on Spotify, same name, Writer Radio. We are on Twitter or X @BradWriter, BradRiter. We're on Instagram @Writer Radio. There's a group now, Writer Radio Facebook group. Go there, find that, follow that, like it, whatever you have to do. We've got a phone number. You can send texts, leave voicemail, 716-288-5246. Email, bradwriter@gmail.com. You don't need to memorize this. It can all be found at writerradio.com. That's the hub. But those are the places. Thanks for listening. Please tell a friend. Please share. That's how we grow. Glad to have you on board to the podcast version of Writer Radio. All right, football started. Football definitely started. Oh, man. All right, it's episode 161 of Writer Radio. Episode 1 of Writer Radio was supposed to be, at least in my mind, as an optimistic Western New Yorker, it was supposed to be, it was the day after the Bills would beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and then I'd have 2 weeks. My first 10 shows would just be, hey, the Bills are going to the Super Bowl. And that did not happen. So the first show was about the season ending. That was the opposite of what I pictured. So I haven't had there's 161 shows, and the first one following a Bills victory. And that was a good one. That was good. Did you guys watch the game last night? Oh my God. All right, where to begin? I'll start with this is just me. I watch games, and maybe it's a product of me seeing a lot of college football, but I watch games expecting improbable comebacks when the team that's trailing is a good team and maybe has a superstar at the quarterback position, and maybe is playing in front of a home crowd. It didn't occur to me until after the game ended last night just how crazy it was that the comeback occurred, because I'm looking at it, even with 6 minutes left, I'm looking at it going, you got Josh Allen, you need 2 scores. I hate the 2-point conversion part of it, and that was all weird. Bills end up going 0 for 3 on 2-point conversions. We had a sequence where they had a point, took the point off the board, went for 2, got the 2 points, took those 2 points off the board, went down to 0, and didn't get a chance to try it again. We had a missed extra point in the game on the Ravens side of things. So, they were really jostling for those individual points over the course of the game. And that part of it all working out is kind of nuts. But the idea of, you got 6 minutes left, you got Josh Allen, same team that went and stole 3 points at the end of the first half with, 22 seconds left on the clock, just went zip, 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 3 points in your face. Bye. That's the kind of team that can score twice in 5.5 minutes. You need to stop. Those were tough to come by, although they became easier to come by as the game went on. Fourth quarter, Bills defense was a whole lot different than what it was over the course of most of the game. But in the moment, it wasn't like, come on, I really hope they can do it. Nah, this is reasonable. They probably won't get there because you need too many good things to go your way. You need to score pretty quickly. You need to stop them pretty quickly, ideally with takeaway. And then you need to score pretty quickly. And it turned out the time wasn't even a thing. The Bills had to run clock down to make sure that they won that thing without giving the Ravens a chance to get the ball back. But it felt pretty cool to think of the Bills being to the Ravens what the Chiefs have been to the Bills. I know it's just a regular season game, but man, they were ready to declare that playoff game was wrong, and it's because Zay Flowers wasn't there. It's not because your top players drop the ball, turn over the ball. It's not that. I mean, they clearly have an MVP, except I wouldn't take him on my team if I was at gunpoint. If that's what you want to trust to go out there and win, and so be it. Even the most spectacular plays made by Lamar Jackson tend to be made because he's making awful decisions and then just running for his life. And it's fun to watch. I like it. I like when he plays. I like watching his team play. I just wouldn't want to rely upon it. I wouldn't want to trust it. I wouldn't want to have it in a game, regular season or playoffs, against one of the actual top players in the league, one of the actual top quarterbacks in the league. I don't think he's there. Spectacular athletic talent, yes. Quarterback position, no. So I don't know. There's a massive difference there. I come away. It's the way I operate. I don't mean to be, and I can never remember the word for it, but the thing where it's just like you're arguing for argument's sake. It's not that. I can never remember the word. It's so stupid. I should know the word. Contrarian. There you go. Contrarian. I am, I think, painted at times as a contrarian because I hear what a bunch of people are saying, and I'm like, no, that's wrong. The problem, it's not that. It's not that I want to intentionally disagree with everything everybody says. It's that the more I listen to people say the same things, the more I poke holes in them, and the more they seem wrong. So any conversation in the last week, I heard multiple people talking about, well, Baltimore still believes Lamar Jackson should have had his third most valuable player trophy. I was like, yeah. Are we sure he should have had the first two? Can we consider that part of it? Like, you don't get to, like, he's validated because, look, clearly he's an MVP type of player because he got the award. And then when the award doesn't go to him, then it's like, clearly they don't know what they're doing voting for the MVP. How about sometimes you win it, sometimes you lose it? Maybe Lamar Jackson shouldn't be a 3-time MVP, or maybe he shouldn't be a 2-time, or maybe he shouldn't be a 1. I don't know. I'm not here to bash Lamar Jackson. I am here to say that I get to the end of the game, and we had, was it Channel 2? Yeah, it must have been. Channel 2 is on, and that guy, John Scott is on, and Vic Carucci's on, and they're just doing there's no way anybody could have possibly seen this coming. It's like, why could you not see this coming? How do you not understand what you're looking at here? How do you not recognize what they believe they can do? It doesn't mean it's going to happen. But that was not as far-fetched a comeback as you would be made to believe if you start just saying, they haven't done it since 1967. Well, they haven't trailed by 15 with Josh Allen. You know, like he wasn't here for most of those years since 1967. That guy wasn't the quarterback. So, I don't know, kind of throw that out. I'm happy. Suddenly I sound like I'm unhappy about a 41-40 comeback, super exciting, super fun, watch that again every night until they play again type of game. It was awesome. It was great. And 1-0 feels amazing, especially with the Chiefs falling to the Chargers and the Ravens being the team you beat. You're essentially 2 games up on the Ravens. You would have been 2 games down to the Ravens had you lost that thing. Everybody in the division, the AFC East lost except the Bills. And the Chiefs lost and the Ravens lost. And here we go. That's week 1. And we move on. We're on to week 2, 1-0. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. The Super Bowl will not be won or lost in September, October, November, or December. I guess you could kind of lose it in January. Then you got to win it in February. That's the thing. Get through January. Don't lose it yet. And then go win it. That's the plan every year, of course. But, more and more, that's all that matters here. But step 1 was taken. Have you thought about what it would be like if maybe there's just magic in that stadium? And so the entire final season looks like that? We're all going to die. We can't live like this. We can't have it come down to that all the time. Hey, there's this kicker we just got 2 days ago. He's old. I've seen him before. Walks in. My wife is like, does he have grandchildren? Like, no, he's 41. He's fine. He's fine. But he, with the helmet off and just kind of frazzled hair, just kind of looked like they found him in the parking lot. And like, dude, you said you used to kick, right? And he came in and got the job done. So that was awesome. There are a million little nitpicky things to talk about throughout that game. But I think number 1 is the same thing that Josh Allen came away with. And I heard him multiple times after the game. Once right on the field, speaking with, I don't know, Melissa Stark maybe. And then again in his press conference. Josh Allen noticed the people walking out of the stadium with 5.5 minutes left or whatever. He noticed that. And he mentioned it twice. And I'm not here to tell you can't leave the stadium. You go where you want. I didn't go to the stadium. So, you did. Good job. But just mentally, it's like, what fun are you having? You just spent the whole day at the stadium. You're like, I'm going to get out of here. I want to get home 11 minutes earlier. And just give up on the fact that this is the last season here. So, there were people at that game who were, I'm sure, attending the last game they'll ever attend at that stadium. And in the interest of time, I don't know, it's a school night, it's a work night. In the interest of time, decided to hit the tunnels a little early. Yeah, I'll just miss the end of it, whatever. You do what you want to do, but you're missing out on the fun of being a sports fan. And it doesn't just apply to people who are in the building. It applies to watching a game on television. I have not yet heard from anybody who said, I went to bed. But I will. Oh, no, there's one. Jay Miller in the chat. I went to bed at third quarter. If you had to go to bed, you had to go to bed. But if you made it to 6 minutes left, you're like, this looks like it might be a little difficult for Josh Allen and the Bills to pull off. I think I'm gonna hit the hay. Morning's coming soon. That's on you. And again, do what you want, but you're missing out on the fun of being a fan. That's the fun part. The fun part is it doesn't seem like we're going to win today. Oh my God, we're going to win today. Oh my God, we just won today. That's the fun. That's where all of the fun is. So if you're in for the tailgate party, and this, again, it doesn't mean you had to be there. I'm just talking about you could be at home. You're in for your special dinner. You got your whatever, your red and blue cupcakes. I don't know how you do it. Whatever you do, you're in for all of that. And then there's a little adversity. And the thing we like about the team is how good they are at dealing with the adversity and how professional and just excellent the quarterback is at dealing with it, at keeping his head on it, not panicking, all the stuff that we didn't necessarily trust about Josh Allen 7 years ago. He's gone. And if you forgot about that and decided to go to bed at with 6 minutes left, or decided to leave the stadium with 6 minutes left, I'm telling you, you're doing it wrong as a fan. You're doing it wrong. You're not appreciating what is happening in front of you with this guy at the helm. It's not done if he's out there. To a certain extent, the roster doesn't matter if that guy's out there. To a certain extent. I'm not trying to downplay what the other 52 guys on the team do. But I'm telling you that Josh Allen plus 52 NFL players equals a very good football team, a dangerous football team, and one that can't be counted out with 6 minutes left down by 15 points. That's what you've got when you've got that guy. Oh no, do they not have a bunch of Hall of Fame wide receivers? Did they not add DeAndre Hopkins and whatever absolutely illegal glove he used to catch that ball last night? People don't catch balls like that. That's not what catching looks like. The point of the ball, is that Velcro? What was that? What was that, DeAndre Hopkins? Target him one time, he uses one hand. If you hit this spot in the middle of my hand, the ball will be caught. That's not what people do. That's what sticky gloves do. That's not how footballs land in people's hands. So yeah, it was spectacular, but I don't know. I've had enough of, can you believe this one-handed grab? We never used to see these. Right, because they didn't have the gloves. Try one of those gloves. You'll catch the ball with your eyes closed. I'm not saying it wasn't an athletic feat. But that's not what it looks like when a ball hits a hand. That's what it looks like when a ball hits a super sticky glove. So I know he's awesome. I know he's great. But the Bills don't have him. They didn't go out and add him. They didn't go out and add a receiver in the first round or the second round or any other round of the draft. They sought out Josh Palmer, who had a good game for him. They drafted Keon Coleman last year, who had a good game for him. It's weird watching Coleman. It's very clear that his skill set is a limited one, but it's one that works. It's one that absolutely works for the Bills when they mix it in with the rest of the guys. Shakir does his thing, and Palmer does his thing, and the tight ends do their thing. 3 tight ends do their thing, by the way. 3 different tight ends with catches, all of them big, one of them massive. From Jackson Hawes late in the game, which on replay, I thought he might have scored on that play, which actually is better that he didn't, because the Bills were able to run off the clock before taking the lead and walk off the field and be happy. And I'm pretty excited about this. I don't know about you, but I haven't opened up the standings. I've been doing them in my head, thinking about them in my head. I'm going to open up NFL standings right now. I want to bask in it a little and see all the things that I love. I've already mentioned. There we go. So NFL standings 2025 season. Okay, so we can do it by division. So in the division, the Bills are 1-0 and everybody's 0-1. In the conference, the Chiefs have lost, the Texans lost, the Titans lost, the Browns lost, the Ravens lost. So that's pretty cool. So now you're at 1-0, tied with the Bengals, Steelers, Colts, Jaguars, Chargers and Broncos, and Raiders. Raiders 1-2. 41 points is the most scored in the AFC and the most scored in the NFC. So, yeah, you lead the league in points. You also probably lead the league in points allowed. You would have to, by definition, right? If points for 41 is first, points against 40 has to be last. So, yeah, you're in last place in points allowed, and that showed, and there's some work to be done. I would say number one on the list to fix what happened yesterday in the ground game is to not play against Derrick Henry. And the Bills plan to do that the next 16 regular season games. They plan to not face Derrick Henry. That's going to help. So 1-0 in the conference. Beat a team that you might be battling with for the 1 seed. The goal here is to close out Highmark Stadium with an AFC Championship game there and to win it there and then go to the Super Bowl. And all systems go. We're moving forward just fine. That's what I'm seeing. All right. There's a lot to discuss there. Scott Wilson will be on just after 11 o'clock here on Writer Radio, episode 161. It is our first sponsored episode of Writer Radio, and I'm going to throw this out there, and we're going to do this a bunch of times. Here's what stinks. I have a whole write-up from Brian Janak, who is sponsoring the show, about his services, and I love the way that he put it. And then this morning when I went to find it, I can't find it. So I was like, hey, Brian, can you just tell me all that cool stuff again? Instead, I can just go on the website and tell you that you can find him through The Financial Guys, thefinancialguys.com. And Brian Janak is a proud sponsor of Writer Radio, our first sponsor of Writer Radio. He's got 20 years of experience in health insurance and employee benefits. And here's how he explained his services to me. You never have to pay him. You don't have to pay him. You consult with him with regard to insurance benefits, specifically if you're about to make the leap into Medicare. He'll meet with you. You'll never pay him. He gets paid through insurance companies. He's just helping you navigate through life, which is awesome. And he's a good dude, and he's a friend of mine, and he's a sponsor of the show. Brian Janak, Janak, Brian Janak, and he is with the Financial Guys. You can contact them at 833-346-4897. They're right here in Amherst, in Williamsville. Spindrift Drive. Services provided: dental, vision, and hearing plans, employer group insurance plans, life insurance, Medicare planning, Medicare, Medicaid insurance, New York State of Health insurance. All of this through our good friend Brian Janak at The Financial Guys. I'll tell you much more about him. And we'll get his phrasing of the way he explained it. It's like, I'm just here to help. Nobody pays me. You never pay me. I never see a dime from you. I'm just here to navigate you through tricky stuff. So do you want to go through the massive headache that's going to take you 4 hours, or you want to bring it to me and I'll take 15 minutes and I'll solve all the problems? So that's what Brian is for, and very happy to have him on board. You'll hear about him a lot on this show. All right, let's read through the chat and go from there. Got a million different... This would be a perfect, hey, let's take live phone calls, because that was a fun game. I don't think I want to. We're just going to do we're going to go through the chat. You can reach me through that. We do still have that voicemail and text line, 288-5246, 716-288-5246. That's the number that we're going to use once I figure out how to use it well, to make sure that you are able to connect as often as possible. That allows you to leave voicemails right now and send text messages right now. And we can record them, they are recorded because they're voicemails, and then I can just play them on the show, and we can use it sort of a interactive but not quite live comment line thing. I don't know. All right, here we go. I went to bed third quarter. Alabama 73-0 is mentioned. Yes. Oh, that's right. UB won 45-6, which was awesome. It was a big, fun weekend of college and pro football. I had a blast. This is only week 1 for the NFL, and my head's already spinning. So this is good. Alabama 73-0. That was Scott Wilson's pick on Friday. One lock. He recommended that you get a second mortgage on your house and then use that in its entirety to bet on Alabama minus whatever the number was. It was massive. It didn't matter. 73-0. They beat Louisiana Monroe by that score. So Scott was right. Starting this week, Bob Gaughan's coming back with his Stone Cold Lock of the Week. So we're going to start having a couple picks thrown out. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to subject you to my whimsical notions about what's about to happen. I'm not in the business of predicting the future. I just like talking about what happened. And, speculating about what's going to happen, but I'm not going to tell you anything's a guarantee. Just like I would not have told you down 15 with 5.5 minutes left that the Bills were going to win the game. I would just say, hey, you should probably keep watching the game. They have Josh Allen. And they've got a crowd behind him. And they've got a team that tends to turn the ball over. It's usually Lamar and not Derrick Henry. But I did say in my house, isn't Derrick Henry due for a fumble, since I'm pretty sure he's never fumbled his entire NFL career? I know that's an exaggeration, but I've never watched that guy cough up a game. And, if you're the Ravens, you will take that. You will take 3 30-plus yard runs, 200-ish yards on the ground, and a fumble. You'll take that every day. So no knock on him, but the Bills needed to make a play. They were right in the game the whole time. Yes, it was embarrassing what Derrick Henry was doing to them. That's it. It's embarrassing, but I don't know. Did you notice we keep scoring too? It's not as spectacular. It doesn't feel as humiliating. But the Bills were right there and able to come out with the win. So that's cool. All right, continuing. Only Louisiana Monroe, ULM, only put 29 on St. Francis. UB put 45 on St. Francis. Wonder what UB could do against a weak SEC team. I don't know. I'd rather see what they could do against a weak MAC team, which is Saturday when they take on Kent State at noon. All right, watched it last night. I 100% knew they would lose, but I'm a pessimist. I've watched the last 25 minutes 2 times. I'm still concerned overall. Yeah. No, yeah. Oh, there are concerns. The defense looked stupid. But you're not going to face the Ravens all the time. I downplay the Ravens because I just have zero faith in Lamar Jackson as a trustworthy quarterback. I don't. That's not how you're going to go on the road and win a playoff game. It's like, I got Lamar Jackson, so you guys are screwed. No, I've just seen it too much. I'm not saying it'll never happen, but it's not in me to fear that team in that situation last night or in the playoff situation. Because he always does spectacular things and then always eventually gives the ball to the Bills so they can win. And that's just the way. And I know that didn't happen regular season last year. I speak in generalities that sound like specifics. When I say always, I don't mean always. I just mean most of the time. Like, that's what it feels like is going to happen. There was another point to that, but I'll just move on. I don't remember. We were winning the Super Bowl, says Arbo. Well, fingers crossed. That's what I'm hoping for. For what it's worth, hopefully Trey White, Max Harrison get healthy in 4 to 6 weeks. Michael Hoyt, Larry Ogunjobi off of suspension in 5 more weeks. We get some talent and depth back on defense. Hey, Joey Bosa was a thing yesterday. There was a drive completely owned by him. That was fun. 2 out of the 3 plays were for loss, and it was because of him. He didn't look, unbelievable for the entire game, but he was a factor. He showed up. I mean, you got as much out of Joey Bosa yesterday as you did in any game from Von Miller in the last couple of years, right? The Bosa signing is kind of the Von Miller signing. We collectively are probably less excited because we watched how the Von Miller thing went. But this feels like that. Miller is a former number 2 overall pick. I think Bosa is a number 2 overall pick. And, past their prime a little, but still pretty helpful. Bosa, obviously, the injury history, but he's not even that old. He's mostly just broken. But he didn't look broken yesterday. He looked all right. So that's something. All right. What's the next one here? I didn't leave, but guys in my section leave early every game to beat traffic. I don't get it, but late games, it happens even more. I don't understand why you would watch most of a game and then say that's enough of the game and then leave the game. I even say this and I guess it would have applied yesterday, but if I'm watching a game, I'm rooting for a team, and my team is getting whooped early. And this is my Buffalo training, I guess. But my thought is, well, the best comebacks always start with getting whooped early. It's like the most spectacular game many of us remember in the history of the sport, the history of this team, is because they got annihilated by Warren Moon and the Oilers, and then turned it around and came back, and it was super fun. Like, that game happened 34 years ago. And we still talk about it. I guess because of that. I guess it's the scarcity. Everybody else gave up, but not me. I stayed and watched. It's not even that. It's just stay to see what happens. Because the thing that happens might be one of the ultimate stories in franchise history. This game is going to be remembered for years. Not just because it's the final opening day at Highmark Stadium, but because of the stakes, because it's the playoff rematch, because there are Ravens fans there chanting MVP when Lamar Jackson hands the ball off to Derrick Henry for a touchdown. He was very, very good, I thought, yesterday at handing the ball to Derrick Henry. And he's been that, really, for the last couple of seasons. Excellent at handing the ball off and also at running. It's the throwing and the thinking that are my problems. I get the running part, but it's fine. It's fine. I wouldn't want that guy. I wouldn't argue that. I don't know how you would argue that guy is a player of the same caliber as Josh. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. You root for your team. I'll root for my team. I think that objectively, what I'm looking at in one of these players is unbelievable, and then the other one's fast. The end. All right. They did not leave with 6 minutes left. They left with 11 left. Insane, not smart. Yeah, I don't get that. It's just we're different people. If you're the type of person, you spent the whole day there. You bought the tickets. You spent the whole offseason getting excited that the Bills are playing the Ravens and that it's a night game. And then you went and you tailgated and you grilled stuff and you drank stuff and you ate other stuff. And you got into the stadium in time for the anthem, you hope. Or maybe you went in time for warm-ups and watched all that. And then the crowd went nuts and they had fireworks. And then these two top teams in the AFC are doing battle, and one of them lives here. And we all root for them. And the score isn't exactly what you were hoping for, so it's time to leave. With 11 minutes left in the game. We're just different people. I don't think you're a bad person. I think you're making a mistake. Yeah, the traffic stinks. But if you're there, you're there. Watch the game, man. I've left one game early, and it was weather-related. And I left in the first half. Ever. Any sport. It was Bills-Giants December of 2007. It was the week after the Bills lost 8-0 to Cleveland in Cleveland. And that was horrible. The weather was terrible there. I went to that game. We ended up like frozen in place for a while. I had this long kind of, I don't know what like canvas-y sort of jacket. And it was just ice. It was just frozen to me. It was horrible. That was in Cleveland. And then the next week was so much worse. It was this like 33 degrees and raining sideways for the last hour of pregame. And then the Bills were playing the Giants. And it was like the coldest, worst, most uncomfortable I've ever been. And the Bills had a lead, and I just left. That was just like, this is miserable. The game's on TV. If we leave now, I can get home. I'll watch the game on TV. This is not beating traffic. This is getting out of this weather. I did leave once early. I don't think that counts. The Bills had been eliminated from playoff contention also. I believe. So I think going into that Cleveland game, whoever won was still alive. Whoever lost was not. And the Bills had a lead. They ended up losing that lead. The Giants, was it Brandon Jacobs? I don't remember who it was. There was some running back that ate them alive that day. But that's the game I left. I left in the second quarter so that I could get home to watch the end of the game. If you're leaving a Bills game with 11 minutes left in it, you're abandoning everything. Now, maybe it's a little different with phones now. Maybe you can watch as you're walking out or something. But my experience when I had season tickets, it takes you, minimally 20 minutes to get from your seat to your car, right? If you've got a great parking spot. It's still going to take you like 20 minutes. And I remember just losing all touch with the NFL during that. Because as much as I'm there for the Bills, I'm also thinking about the rest of the league and fantasy football and all that stuff. And I remember the sort of black hole of information happens from the time you decide to leave your seat. You can't see the scoreboard anymore. They're not making announcements to you anymore. From that time you leave to the time you get to your car and can turn on a radio, there's like a vacuum of football information. So you love football so much that you spent the whole year thinking about going to this game, and you went shopping the week before and got all the right stuff for the tailgate, and you dressed in the right stuff. You got the shoes and your stupid pants, whatever you do. You dress like a wrestler. You dress like I don't know, a fireman. Whatever you do, and then with 11 minutes left, you're like, nah, you know what? We'll come back in a couple weeks. That's fine. I'm just gonna go home. In a game between the Bills and the Ravens. I don't respect it. I don't respect it, but I also don't care. I'm just telling you you're doing it wrong, I guess, is the point. I'm not trying to put you down. I'm just saying you're going to have a lot more fun in life if you watch games until they're over. A lot of times, like the big finishes tend to happen. They tend to happen right at the end. Right at the end of the game. The crazy finish is almost always at the end. So you're skipping the opportunity for all the best games. All the best games you're going to miss. You'll be a season ticket holder. If you leave 11 minutes early every time, you're missing all the best games. All the crazy ones, you just don't see those. So do you even like football? What are you doing? I don't know. All right, next we go to second to last in points allowed to the Ravens, who gave up 41 points. That's right. See? This is what happens when I do the math. That's right. The worst defense in the league is the Ravens. Okay. Statistically, it's an excellent point, Ray. Thank you. I skipped right over that one. Duh. All right, so the Bills have given up the second most points in the league, but it's the Ravens who've given up the most. They gave up 41. That's fun. All right. ESPN's Game of the Week, 7th to 9th grade modified football, Alden at Cattaraugus, Little Valley, Wednesday, September 10th, 6 p.m. I don't think that's the ESPN Game of the Week. I think you just tricked me, Jay Miller. Alden at Cattaraugus, Little Valley. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a great game. 7th to 9th grade modified football. If you leave a home game early, you're not a fan. It's not a band playing an encore you've heard a dozen times. It's a game where anything can happen. Sorry, I'd kill to live in the town of my team and go to games. You are phonies, says the Duke of Williamsville. Duke of Williamsville is a Saints fan. That stinks. But his team has won a Super Bowl in our lifetime. I watched that happen with him. He was very happy. All right, I'm going to play a song, take a break, be right back. It's Writer Radio. You got anything on the Bills, throw it in the chat. That's great. I love that. Should I try the phone thing? All right, here's what I'll do. I'm going to say right now that the phone line is open. And if someone would like to try to use it, when I get back from playing a song, if there's a call on the line, I'll just take it. I'll take a live call on the air if you would like to talk about the Bills game. Don't mess with me. It's just, treat it like a real thing, and it can become a real thing. Here's the number. If the phone happens to be ringing right around the time that we come back from playing a song or two, I'll just take a call on the air, and you'll be a part of Writer Radio Live as we talk about the Bills' 41-40 comeback win over the Ravens last night. UB football was victorious over the weekend, as expected. Scott Wilson will be on. We'll talk about both of those things, I'm sure. It's going to be a pretty football-heavy show on Mondays, especially on a Monday after a game like last night and after an entire offseason of build-up and all this stuff. So while I don't tend to just do a sports show, I do a show in Buffalo. What is Buffalo talking about today? Probably the Bills coming back and beating the Ravens last night. It was great, and we've got some room to talk about it. Here's the number if you want to be a part of the show. Maybe we'll try it. We'll see. If it works out perfectly, we'll do it. The number is 716-288-5246. 716-288-5246 for Writer Radio. All right, song, and then we'll be back as we continue with episode 161. Victory Monday version. That's cool. Have not done a Victory Monday thing in a long, long time. Again, I thought the first Writer Radio episode 1 was the day after the last real Bills game. Lost in the AFC Championship game. So we've done losing. This is the first win. The Bills are 1-1. Well, really, they're 1-0 since I started doing the show. I planned to do the show, but I hadn't started doing it yet when they lost to the Chiefs. And I just did the show, and then they played yesterday for the first time. So they're 1-0. 1-0 in the lifetime of Writer Radio, which is 161 episodes in. That's pretty good. 1-0 is a good record. That's all we're looking for, right? I like it. Stay tuned. I'm Brad, and it's Writer Radio. This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com. Writer Radio, episode 161. Coming at you live, writerradio.com. Today's show brought to you by Brian Janak, insurance specialist at the Financial Guys. Get in touch with him, specifically if you're approaching 65 or you know somebody who is, and you want to know about Medicare options. You don't even pay him. You just go to him and hang out, and he's nice to you, and he helps you improve your life. How cool is that? That's a good deal. Talk to Brian Janak at the Financial Guys. I'm looking at the box score, and for the first time, the comeback seems more improbable than it did. Watching it, and again, I think it's a product of watching a ton of college football, having been at, 12-ish games a year since 2008. And then, I watch a lot on TV too, and I watch games before that. But as far as just following a team, college football is crazy. We talk about Maction being nuts. College football is crazy, and we just happen to watch MAC games. And yeah, there seems to be a special brand of crazy going on there. In part because of, just being isolated with the weeknight games and stuff. But you watch games between teams that shouldn't be on the field at the same time in college football. And then you watch the team that shouldn't be hang around. And then you just start doing the math. So to me, 6 minutes left, down 2 scores, Josh Allen is quarterback. That's fine. It's not ideal. But to me, it's either, got some work to do, didn't quite get there, or here comes the fun stuff, right? I may be well coached and don't let my highs get too high or my lows get too low or something like that. But, down 15 with 6 left, it's fine. And they did it. I will say this, looking at the box score for the first time and seeing the Bills, in a game that they won by 1, scored 7 points in the first quarter, 6 points in the second quarter, 6 points in the third quarter, and then 22 in the fourth quarter. That seems a little shocking to me. We're not really thinking much about the clock late third, early fourth. It's just kind of all right, are they going to settle in? Are they going to be able to get themselves back to where they can compete? So I'm going to have to look at the scoring plays because how did the scoring go in the fourth quarter early? Because there's just a lot of stuff happened there. What do I want? Recap? Is that right? Recap is like a story about the game. That's not what I want. The box score is not what I want. I want scoring plays. I don't want play-by-play. That's too much detail. There's got to be a tab for just the scoring plays. Gamecast? Maybe that. There we go. Okay. Fourth quarter starts with a Josh Allen rushing touchdown, capping an 8-play, 84-yard drive, 2-yard rush from Josh, and then it says 2-point pass conversion failed. I don't remember which one that was. Was that the one where they made the kick and then took the point off the board and then tried? That's probably it, right? And then tried for 2, and then they got the 2, but then they took that off the board because Keon Coleman had stepped out of bounds. But then there was never any... I wasn't super satisfied with the explanation that was given on TV about why that play just went away. It didn't seem like it should have gone away. Seems like when there's a penalty, right? And I apologize. I mean, I know that Gene Steratore that was on? Whoever the officiating, I think it was Steratore, came on and gave a quick explanation of why it was totally fine. So the sequence is the Bills kick an extra point, but there's a penalty, which allows them now to go for 2 from the 1 yard line if they would like to. So they elect to do that. And then they go for 2, and a pass is caught in the end zone by Keon Coleman, but there's a flag, and then the flag is explained as he was out of bounds, so it's illegal touching. Can't be the first one to touch the thing. Oh, I know what Steratore said. Well, the penalty is it's a loss of down. So there was no coming back from it. And maybe that's right. Like in the moment, I was like, okay, sure. But I still haven't processed completely. It felt as though, and it feels as though in life, in football, when a penalty is called, it's either accepted or declined. So declining the penalty would mean the 2 points would count. Accepting the penalty would be moving the Bills back and making them try again. But I don't know how that works because of the way that they've changed the extra point rules. So you're kicking from one place or going from it from another. And the penalty allowed the Bills to move all the way up. But if you move back, they're at the 1, you move back 5 yards or whatever. Now you're at the 6. Now can you kick from the 6 or do you have to go for it from the... Like I think it would have run into a bunch of other rules. And maybe that's why the rule is... maybe it was interpreted correctly and that means the Bills don't get another opportunity. It just seemed to me that in no other situation in football have I seen there's a penalty and therefore that play doesn't count and then we just move on. Either you accept or decline, even on an onside kick. I'm just thinking out loud. I hope this connects, but it's kind of the same thing, at least in my brain. If I attempt an onside kick and you don't touch the ball and it doesn't go 10 yards and I cover the ball, I get the ball. So I get the ball 8 yards from where I kicked it. But there's a penalty because of illegal touching. I shouldn't have touched the ball because it needed to go 10 yards or be touched by a member of the receiving team. So if that didn't happen and I cover the ball, they don't just give the other team the ball at that spot, do they? Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Because otherwise you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, right? But you'd have to keep moving back. I don't know. I was uncomfortable with the process there. Like why that happened. For the most part, I thought officiating was good last night. There was that one Josh Allen sliding for a first down thing that I think they probably botched. Although that did lead to me trying to interpret NFL rules too. You know, we know the thing, at least I do, that you probably will hear when I say it, it'll sound familiar. It's where you start the slide, right? Where you start the slide. Where is the ball when you start the slide? Well, it didn't occur to me until last night that I don't know what start the slide means. Is it you start looking like you're sliding? Because if you start looking like you're sliding and we mark the ball there, I think Josh is short of the first down. But then Steratore comes on, and it was like 2 plays removed, so they couldn't do anything about it anyway. But the explanation was it's where the front of the ball is when the first part of the body comes down. So, if he sits down to slide, if it's a knee, whatever it is, once he touches down. Well, that, to me, calls into question, what does the start of the slide mean? I wish NFL rules were simpler. I understand why they're not. Just so many bodies out there and so many different things to interpret. It becomes most frustrating when we're talking about, is that a catch? Is that not a catch? It's like, well, he's got this element of a catch, but not this. You need that third element. It's like, did he catch the ball? That guy threw it and that guy caught it. In real life, did the guy catch the ball? I'd love it to be that simple. I understand that it can't be. We'll all just continue to be frustrated with stuff like this. But it didn't occur to me until yesterday that I don't even know what they mean by it's the start of the slide. I guess the start, I've always interpreted that in my head as he's starting to slide. Like, look, the action he's taking is the beginning of what will eventually be a slide. So I've thought that's where the ball is. I've thought the whole time, get beyond the first down marker before doing anything that indicates that you're about to slide. Because in my brain, that's what start of the slide means. But the way it was explained yesterday, it's start of the slide is when you make the contact with the ground. You don't get the sliding part of the slide, but you're down, where's the ball? And if you're down, where's the ball is the real thing, Then Josh Allen had a first down. The league blew right past it, and we're still doing replay wrong. I would like to commend the NFL. It's very early, but this replay assist thing that just solves the problem instead of the massive delay that's caused when we see the play and then the coach is mad and then we're arguing and then the clock is running and then they're lining up to try to run the play real fast and then the coach throws a flag and then he has to explain to the official what he needs him to look at and then he has to go over to all that stuff doesn't need to exist. Coaches' challenges don't need to exist. Somebody in the booth watching a television knows what happened for the most part, or at least knows when it's time to take a look. And they've gotten it right. I don't know, I don't remember the whole process of the rule changing to where that has become an option, but that's the right way to go. If I'm sitting home 20-something miles from the stadium and I know that a call was botched immediately, then there's got to be somebody with the league who's got the ability to do that, and they're finally doing that, but it didn't work in this situation, and I still don't totally understand what the correct interpretation is, but it certainly felt like we have a league where they can stop it, the eye in the sky can stop it and say, hold on, and instead of that happening, they rushed through, and the Bills did it to themselves because they wanted to run a quick, tush-push type of thing or whatever it was. Some all right, we need an inch, let's get an inch quick. So they did that, so they brought it on themselves. But the reality is that the league should be able to go, hold on a second, we have to look at that. I don't think that was right. And that would have had a pretty significant impact on the crazy script of the rest of the game. It would have helped the Bills, obviously, in that case. But the rest of the game doesn't play out the same way as it does. So, I'm not here to say that cost them because it didn't. The Bills won. But I would just like to see them get these things right as often as possible and as quickly as possible. We had a massive example of how to not do replay in the UB game over the weekend. And we're not going to dwell too much on UB today. I will get into that a lot tomorrow. But the Bills game was just too big, man. That was too big a deal. Derrick Henry's a scary monster. I wish I didn't like him. I wish I had the ability that I used to have, where it's just, if you're on the other team, I can't stand you. And if you're on my team, I love you. I wish I could do that. I can't anymore. So now it's like Derrick Henry, by all accounts, is an awesome dude, and he's super impressive, and he's been doing it for a long time, and I hate that he does it to the Bills. Oh, only 169 yards rushing for Henry. That's good. I thought he was closer to 200. I'm thinking of the last time they played. All right. Bills rally for 16 points in the last 4 minutes to stun the Ravens. Yeah, see, Josh is talking about this leaving the stadium early thing. Our team didn't quit. I think there's people who left the stadium. That's okay. We'll be fine, but have some faith next time. He did that in the press conference. He did it on the side, or not the sideline, but talking with Melissa Stark right after the game. And it's good to hear. Not, where are you? Why don't you? Just, guys, this is what we're doing. We believed in us. Thought you were on our side. Where are you going? Where's everybody going? Oh, can I do a quick thing on the Zay Flowers? No, it was not Zay Flowers. It was DeAndre Hopkins and Lamar. So DeAndre Hopkins got slapped on the head by a Bills fan. And then the same guy, kind of tried to do the same thing to Lamar, and Lamar kind of shoved the guy. No real problem with Lamar for his actions there. But I do have one minor issue. Why did DeAndre Hopkins run right next to the Bills fans? There's a whole field where no one can reach you. And you put yourself there knowing that you're the enemy. And then are we supposed to be surprised that a drunken mob doesn't behave the way that you would like them to? What did you want them to do? If you go somewhere to antagonize, this is the Dak Prescott thing from the spitting incident the other night. Did he do what Jalen Carter did? No. Did he antagonize the thing and then Jalen Carter reacted? Yes. So you're not totally innocent. Don't celebrate your touchdown right where Bills fans can reach your head. I don't know if anything came of that from a security standpoint. I don't know if Lamar will get fined. He might get fined a little bit. You're not supposed to shove fans. But you wouldn't have to shove the fan if you didn't run in the spot where the fans could reach you right after scoring a touchdown in a big game on a Sunday night in the opener. Super hyped game, super crazy crowd, and then you're like in their face. Like, I got in his face and then he touched me. Well, yeah. So, I don't know. Don't hit the opponents. Don't touch the players. I agree. But also, players, don't run your dumb head right next to my hands. How am I to resist? I'm rooting strongly against your football team, and you just scored, and I didn't like it, and now you're right here. Just don't go over there. That seems simple. So that's kind of on Hopkins. I think that whole thing is kind of on Hopkins. Harry in the chat has released the point spread for the Alden Cattaraugus Little Valley game. He's got Alden laying 1.5. Jay Miller says if that means Alden is favored to win, I'm all about it. It does. That's what it means. -1.5 means Alden by 1.5. Let's take a break. We'll come back, and we'll be joined by Scott Wilson, who watched football this weekend, too. A lot of football today on Rider Radio. Thanks for joining us. Get in the chat at the MixLR site. So if you just joined us through Rider Radio, you click on the thing. It says Listen Live. On there, there's a chat function, and you can get in there, and you can log in, and you can communicate, not just with me, but with other listeners to the show. It's a lot of fun. If you're new to the show, that's what we do. That's how we interact, because I don't have like a live call-in thing, although I offered the opportunity. We will make this thing work. We'll do live calls at some point. I just have a lot to say about football today. Oh, can I? All right, real quick. Maria Taylor. Maria Taylor is that 7.5-foot woman that works in the studio. She's it's striking every time she's on the screen. Like, whoa, look at that. There's just a lot of her. She's bigger than the football players. She's probably wearing heels and stuff, and she's playing it up. Like, that's her look. I'm a big, tall woman, and I like her for the most part. But I do have to say that I heard her yesterday commit the ultimate sin. She's been on this NBC telecast since 2020. So this would be season 6 of this woman being on the broadcast. And I'm all for, mixing in various people. It doesn't I don't need all, former NFL offensive linemen talking to me about football. What I do need is for everybody to say the score in the proper order. You cannot be the host of Football Night in America and refer to the score of a football game as 12-20. And she did that yesterday, and that's a fireable offense to me. Like, look, we're trying to say that women can talk about football. We've given you this platform for the last 6 NFL seasons. And you're going to give me the score backward? You can't give... Here's the deal. You can be a female broadcaster in sports, but you have to talk like a person who knows the sport. You cannot be a baseball announcer and refer to somebody having a mitt. Okay? We use baseball gloves. Catchers use mitts. First basemen use mitts. Everybody else has a glove. It's not a mitt. So if you would like to be on television and talking about sports, you can't say that a score is 12-20. Tennis is the only sport that I'm aware of where we say the score backward, and we say it to indicate who's serving. Everywhere else, the top score is the first score, always. And it makes you look bad and sound dumb and seem like you shouldn't be on television. And I'm sure she's wholly qualified. I'm sure she does a great job. I don't watch a ton, but I've never had a problem. She's fine. She's very tall. But you can't say the score backward. It takes me out of it. She's like, come on. Can I just have somebody who knows that the score is 20-12? You can know all the other stuff. You can break down A gaps and B gaps and zone reads, whatever, all the stuff, knee bend. Anything you know, I believe you. That's fine. But you lose credibility when you say the score backward. And you're already up against it when you're a woman talking about football. So you can't have a woman who's the host talking about football who says 12-20 is the score. And baseball players use gloves, not mitts. I know that's not her. That's just in general in life. That's for broadcasters. That's for coaches. That's for Little League coaches. It's for Little League parents. Even in softball, it's not a mitt, it's a glove. You know the difference between a mitten and a glove in wintertime? All right, well, just Add that to baseball. Things with fingers are gloves. Things where your fingers are all together are mitts, as in mittens. It's the same thing. It's not hard. And the score is 20-12. It's not 12-20. Just get that stuff right. Just get the little stuff right. And then it's fine. Then it's not a distraction. Then we're not wondering what the hell you're doing in that position. 6 years hosting, 12-20. Did somebody say something to her? Did any producer get in her ear and go, that's not how we talk in America. It's not how we talk in sports. The team with the lead, you say that number first. Okay. Sorry. While you guys were mad at Derrick Henry, or you're mad at like Cole Bishop, I was mad at Maria Taylor last night for saying the score was 12-20 at one point. Am I even getting it right? Was that a score? 13. 13-20, it must be what she said. Because that was the score at halftime. 20-13. Baltimore out in front of the Bills, who come back and win 41-40. Quick timeout. Scott Wilson's going to join me. It is Writer Radio.
Let's check in with Writer Radio's senior football correspondent, Scott Wilson.
Message comes in. Little Leaguers asking, who are we versing today? Drives me nuts. That's right. We don't verse them. We play them. It's not 13-20. It's 20-13. It's not a mitt. It's a glove. We can all do this. We can all speak the same language. We can have a conversation. We'll be fine. Scott Wilson's here. He's our senior football correspondent and also Hallmark. You want to do football or Hallmark today?
I was thinking football.
All right, yeah, let's do football.
I was leaning football.
Did you watch any football over the weekend?
I watched a lot of football this week.
What was your favorite football game?
Well, my favorite was probably watching the Bills game.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was going to say. We should talk about that one.
Followed closely by the UB win.
Yeah, that was great too. Oh, I love these weekends.
A distant third was Giants-Washington.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Alabama 72-0.
73.
73-0.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Nothing to 73.
Like, what are we talking about? I told you, if you were listening to this and you didn't get a second mortgage and lay it all on the Crimson Tide,
yep. That's on you.
Think about all the money that you just lost.
Right, that's dumb.
There's so much money that they just lost.
All you got to do is listen and pay attention. Yep, just follow along.
Yeah.
Good job. All right, so I think you're with me. Look, it didn't look great, but the comeback games never look great. And you and I are used to, assessing realistically what's going to go on in a game. And with, 15 points between the two teams and that guy at quarterback, I know, like, I could hear you in my head going, it's a score and a stop and a score. Like, that's what it was. And it's, it never feels like it's going to happen, but you have to be realistic and say, all right, there's a reason that 70,000 people came here to watch this dude play. It's to see him in this situation and see what he can make of it. And I don't know, I guess afterward I was in the, oh my God crowd too, but I never was in the they're dead, it's over thing. I don't know, what were your thoughts as you went through the process, knowing that it was possible, but knowing that it was unlikely?
Yeah, I agree with you. And we talk about it all the time on the UB broadcast. Yeah, score, stop, and a score. And, I mean, then it's fine. I mean, you're talking about, and a lot of times we've talked about it in the kind of situation of being down 3 scores, like being down 21-0. And it's like, I know that that's 3 scores, but it's really not. Because if I do a score, stop, score, it's a 7-point game.
Right.
And it's college football, and this like that's what happens here. That's what happens unless you're Louisiana Monroe against Bama. Like in most evenly matched games, that's what happens. And when you add in that at the pro ranks and say, oh, by the way, the best player on the planet is also going to be in charge of throwing the ball. Yeah, I mean, it felt like they were in trouble. Never felt like they were fully out of it.
Right.
They never got put away. The Ravens never put them away. And I think that it was credit to Tirico and Collinsworth pointing it out several times in that third quarter, where they were like,
hanging around.
The game's like they haven't put these guys quite away yet, and they're just kind of they haven't played well, but they're still there. Like this is still something that we should talk about. This game isn't over by any means. They're still hanging around, and they hung around just long enough. To me, I know that fourth quarter, Allen, like the first person ever to have 2 rushing touchdowns and 250 yards throwing in a fourth quarter is crazy. Like all of the different stats that are coming from, like the Ravens are the first team ever to have that amount of rushing yards, score 40 points, and lose.
It's like 277-0 prior to last night, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, just the astronomical amount of stats coming out of that game are crazy. But to me, the entire situation, the whole reason why this was even possible was second quarter, 25 seconds to go, and the Bills get a field goal before halftime.
Yep.
With no timeouts. It was a masterclass at the end of the half. And it was brilliant. And it is the reason why they were able to win the game. I think, you think back even with even early days with McDermott, they're kneeling
it out. Yeah.
They're kneeling that out, saying, all right, not a great first half. We're still here, though. And now it's finally gotten through that we have Allen and we have decent enough supporting cast on this offense that we could do something with this. We could at least owe it to ourselves to try. And, it's 99% of the time he pays it off for you. And it's crazy. And I'm also left thinking like you about Lamar and how there's a lot of people that for some reason think that he should have been MVP last year. And it's like, he's a different dude. I mean, he's without a doubt a top tier quarterback in the NFL. But I know something that happened last night, and that was when the game was on the line, they didn't let him do it.
Right.
They got to 3rd and 2 with a running back that had run for 200 yards and a quarterback that is the fastest in the league, and they didn't let him determine the outcome of the game. And I think back to when the stakes were much larger in the AFC Championship game and the lead, it didn't work out because of a poor spot. But what did the Bills do? They gave the ball to Josh Allen and said, he's our guy. We got to go win the game. And that's that. That's that to me. I think that, Andy Reid treats Mahomes that way.
Right.
Oh, it's 4th down and 2.5. And if we don't get it, we're going to give the other team maybe free field goal to win. Yeah, guess what? The odds are if I punt this ball away, they're going to get it anyway, which they did. And I just don't think that the reason right now the rivalry between the Ravens and Bills has been this is I don't think that Harbaugh has come around to mentally approaching the game like the Bills have learned that they have to do with the Chiefs. Like you can't give that guy the ball again.
Yep.
And they just keep getting in these situations and they keep volunteering to give the ball back to Josh Allen and that offense. And it always burns them. And the Bills have come around on the Chiefs. And again, didn't work in the AFC Championship game because of that bad spot. But it was the right decision. It was the right decision.
Yep. I've got 2 things off of what you're saying. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You want to finish? Go ahead. Sorry.
Nope.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
I've got 2 things, and I hope that I remember to get back to them. One is there was a sequence. It's 40-25 at this point, and the Ravens have the ball. They run Derrick Henry for 3 yards. They run Derrick Henry and lose a yard, so now they're in a 3rd and 4 situation, and I'm thinking they're going to run Derrick Henry, and he's going to go for 28 yards. This stinks. But there's a penalty on one of their linemen for a false start, and that takes you from a 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 6, whatever it was, where I still think you're mashing with Derrick Henry, and it brings you back to like a 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 13. It brings you to a 3rd and 13, and the crowd is going nuts because they just jumped. And I said out loud, you know why everybody's excited? Because they just put the ball back in the hands of Lamar Jackson. Now it's 3rd down, and now you can stop them. I don't know how to stop Derrick Henry. The Bills don't know how to stop Derrick Henry. But if you put them in a situation, they're not handing the ball off on 3rd and 13 in this situation with 6 minutes left or whatever it was. And it's Lamar, and he passes it to Flowers, and they stop him, and they punt, and then we go from there. But that exact thing, it ties in with what you're saying. They don't have the ability to put it in his hands, and they shouldn't have the willingness to put it in his hands to seal the thing at the end, and they didn't, and that's what I was excited about, and that's what I think the fans were excited about, and that's what ultimately leads to a 10-play, 80-yard touchdown drive that gets them back in prior to the fumble, prior to the second touchdown, and all the chaos. The other one, I have lost my point. It was about the Chiefs. The way that the Bills have learned to coach, and like you said, comparing now to early McDermott, not only did they get the ball back with 22 seconds left and think, all right, we're going to go try to get something out of this to end the quarter, or to end the half, rather, they started calling timeouts on the previous drive like a person playing Madden. Like those of us who have played Madden since the game came out, know how to use timeouts better than the average NFL coach does, or at least, we're in a transition period now where Sean McVay treats it like Madden. But seeing McDermott convert to that mentality of every possession we get with Josh Allen is a gift and an opportunity to score points. We're not going to squander this one. So we're going to use our timeouts as the Ravens are putting together a field goal drive so that maybe we can get the ball back with a little bit of time, and maybe we've got a shot to get some points on the board. It's not just having that situation fall into your lap. It's planning for that situation. That's something I didn't see the Bills do 5-6 years ago, and we're seeing them do more consistently now. And you're right. I think that sequence of stopping the clock and making sure they give this guy an opportunity at the end of the half was massive for the Bills, and in just the mindset, but also really it's like the duel at that point. The end of the quarter, the Bills kick a field goal, and it's like, all right, 17-10, cool. But then the Ravens answer with one, and the Bills have a chance to get another one in there, and they do. And it's just little stuff like that makes a difference. It's a mentality, and it's understanding the more often that guy has the ball, the more points we're going to score. Just give him another chance. Give him another chance. And it worked in the first half. Obviously, it worked in the second half as well.
I do want to give the defense a little bit of credit, which I know that they don't deserve much, but it's I guess this is a weird way to go about it, but like I know that they only actually tackled Derrick Henry probably 5 times, but one of them forced a fumble.
Uh-huh.
So I mean that's a terrible ratio for Derrick Henry.
Okay, that's something.
I think we're seeing. We didn't see any of the younger guys really make a huge impact, but I think we are seeing the addition of Bosa on the outside and some of the new talent on the inside is giving a little bit of more freedom to Ed Oliver, because Ed Oliver last night looked like that's the guy from Houston that was destroying college football.
It was being talked about as a number 1 overall pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where you're like, whoa, all right, this guy isn't as tall as some of the other defensive tackles, but he is a game wrecker. I thought he was awesome last night.
He was Aaron Donald last night. He's not. Yeah, I don't expect it every day, but my God,
he's overshadowed because no one else on the defense played all that great. But I thought that's a very good sign, especially when you throw in there that they're gonna. Like a couple weeks here, they're going to add back in Ogunjobi to be next to him in that rotation, which that could look real cool. And they're potentially going to get a couple guys back in the secondary here once they're off of injury, and Hairston and Trey. So that should kind of help out a little bit.
Yeah, Michael Hoyt mixed in too. He's coming back when Ogunjobi comes back.
Hoyt's coming back to give them a little bit of work there. The safeties are a problem.
Yeah.
Are a problem. Rapp looks slow. Didn't see much from DeMar. Bishop was okay, but some of the angles being taken on Henry are a big problem. So I don't know if that's going to Poyer off the practice squad here, or if that's looking at a guy like Jabril Peppers, who just got cut a couple of like a week ago or whatever. But if they're going to make a real run here, they're going to have to probably try to address that situation. And that's something that we saw in the preseason peek its head out. But it reaffirmed itself again last night. I mean, they are okay against mid to bottom level opponents in the NFL. But when the rubber meets the road, they were getting exposed last night. It was not pretty.
No, it was bad. But I also want to say I've seen Derrick Henry do this to the Bills a lot. I've seen him do it to a lot of teams. And there's a reason that the Ravens are hyped up the way that they are. I don't have I just don't think they're on the same level. And I know the game indicates that they're very much on the exact same level as the Bills. I don't believe in them. I do believe in Derrick Henry, and I do think he's going to make you look stupid sometimes. And I think he can make a defense. He can make us very scared about what that defense will look like. But we know you're not going to have to face that again until the playoffs. Now, I need to beat them in the playoffs, so I need to be better, obviously. But I want to see what they look like against a team that's not considered a favorite to win the Super Bowl, or a favorite to win the AFC, or a favorite to face them in the playoffs. Henry's a different beast, and I don't know that they're going to see another player like that until the playoffs again. So that part helps me, I don't know, offset some of the pain. But it was bad. Like it was. There's nothing that could be done. 18 carry. He averaged 9.4 yards a carry, and every bit of it. Like he went for 30 yards 3 different times in that game. He gets going, he gets through the line, and there's just nothing there. There's an issue. But they'll work on it. They'll get to work.
I have a couple of Bills things that are, I guess, not necessarily football related, that I think are fun.
Okay.
One, you check out that Jesus piece on Keon Coleman on SportsCenter last night?
Nope.
My goodness.
There's a Jesus piece. I watched him get interviewed by SVP. That didn't go super well.
You didn't see the chain that he had on?
I didn't notice.
He had the head of Jesus Christ in diamonds.
Oh.
That was half of the size of his chest.
Oh. No, you know what? I looked at it. I'll tell you this. I think it's probably...
Hold on. You watched that interview and you missed the giant Jesus Christ head?
I saw a shiny...
the head of Jesus H. Christ
Yeah.
in diamonds on him, and you missed it.
I did.
You gotta go back and see it.
Okay, I noticed he was wearing something big and shiny, but I think this is a product of me going to a lot of Little League games. It seems that after every Little League game, they give an award to somebody, and they'll put something around their neck, and then they'll take pictures. So it's like, oh, he was the player of the game, or he was the comeback kid, or he was the this or that. So I don't know. I wasn't processing it, and I just thought, I was thinking about how the interview wasn't going super well, about how Keon Coleman couldn't totally keep up with Scott Van Pelt, and it was just a little awkward. And then I just thought, oh yeah, he's got a shiny thing because he had 108 yards, and they probably gave him some kind of an award. Did not occur to me to stare at it to find 112 yards. Did not occur to me to stare at it and determine that it was in fact the head of Jesus Christ made out of diamonds. So that's cool. That's cool.
It's fun. And listen, I think it would be interesting if the Bills decided to use that as the post game.
Yes.
Game ball type of thing.
Yes.
The other thing is, it's very interesting to see.
Wait, do we know that they didn't? Do we know that wasn't awarded by McDermott? They're very faith-based. They're a very faith-based organization.
Yes, but I don't think that's no.
Diamond Jesus. If you get 112 yards and a touchdown, Diamond Jesus.
And the one thing I can see in Keon Coleman's game is he appeared in this game to seem, and I don't know if this makes sense, he seemed a lot more professional looking and refined and honed than he did his first season in this first game. It wasn't anything crazy, but he looked a lot more comfortable and professional out there, which I think is a very good sign. Okay, my second observation is it's real fun to watch Bosa and his face, like during the game and then in post game, because to me, he very much has an attitude and is kind of, when I hear him talk, it very much feels like, wait, you guys have been doing this the whole time that I've been in the league?
I know.
Like, you guys just have fun and then win, and then you get to watch Josh.
Right,
and
you got the dinner.
The Chargers.
You got the dinner and stuff.
Right.
Go to each other's houses.
You guys win all the time. Like, this just happens here, and I didn't know that this was a thing. I didn't know that this was an option. It's like he's finding out that there's a secret menu at McDonald's or something. Like, oh, I can order a quarter pounder inside a Big Mac. Oh my God, he's very much. I don't want to say off balance, but you can tell he's very much like, wow, this is
cool.
Listen, this is cool, man.
Wow.
This is not what happens normally.
All right, somebody sent me a link to a shot of Keon Coleman with the Jesus necklace. He's got a crown of thorns. They are also made of diamonds. This is I don't know how I missed that.
I don't know either.
I watched this whole thing. I watched this live. I was mostly just focusing on, can he keep up, and is he going to do anything dumb here? I want him. I like him. He's quirky. He's not a standard SVP interview, and I was just kind of like, it was almost like I was watching him as if I was his media trainer, and I was just hoping he didn't step in it at all. I got lost in his eyes and his mouth, and I missed that there is a massive Jesus necklace just staring. He's got kind of dead. I think he's dead. I think it's dead Jesus, but he's made of diamonds, and so is his crown of thorns. And I'm proud of SVP for not going, what the hell is that on your chest? Because that could have gotten super weird. But okay. All right. So now I've seen that. The headline here is Keon Coleman tonight, 8 receptions, 112 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 diamond-studded Jesus Christ necklace. It's good. All right. And then, go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Jesus would be offended that all of the depictions of him are from the 3-day period that he was dead?
It's not cool. I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, do you think he would not come back and be like, listen, I was gone for 3 days.
Right.
And you're going to take the one picture.
Yeah.
You're going to take me at my low point there.
Right.
Listen,
right.
there's a lot of other stuff going on in the story here. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think that's terrible. It's bad PR for him. You think back, like, he didn't have great media training. It wasn't the same way. Social media wasn't quite what it is today, back then. So, it was hard to know. I don't know where I'm going with it. I'm going to stop. I'll just stop.
Okay. That's a conversation for April.
Not the day after this happened. I mean, we're not talking about an awesome UB game because we have to talk about the awesome Bills game. We'll do the UB game too a little bit. Somebody just wrote a Ben. I just gave it a goog. Oh my, that's really something. Gave it a goog. I like that. I googled Jesus necklace and Keon Coleman. To your point about him being more professional, I think he looked very much like he knows what exactly his role is. It's almost a tight end type of situation, despite being lined up on the outside. I thought they did a real nice job describing when he was battling with, I don't remember who the corner was, but he was battling with someone, and this guy has no fear of Coleman getting behind him. It might have been Malachi Starks. Has no fear of Coleman getting behind him. He's not going to, which is why they're in a fist fight right now, because he's afraid of him catching the ball wherever he stands. And it looks like Coleman knows what his skill set is, and Allen knows what his skill set is, and he's doing very specific things like, my back shoulder is higher than your back shoulder, and therefore I'm going to use my physical presence to sort of, box you out and grab rebounds, essentially, near the sideline. And he had, the one play that he made over the middle where he got tripped up or would have just gone in to give the Bills a chance to tie or take the lead or whatever it was at that point. I'm so screwed up on the math, all the different times when it was they need 8, they need 7, they need 9, they get 2, they miss 2. I mean, this is a game that came down to 1 point. Baltimore missed an extra point. The Bills failed to convert on 3 2-point conversions. Does that say anything about the math that should be done, or is it just a specific situation? You have to make a decision every time. But it's like, if I would have just kicked the extra points, I'd be fine. I don't know. It was weird. Thinking back to all the math that was being done during the second half because of all those weird conversion opportunities that did not work.
Yeah, I mean, you have to me, and we talk about it sometimes during UB games when those types of things come up. You have to be real sure about the first time you go for two, because if something happens and you don't get it, you end up chasing it the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Like, you never really fully feel like you got it back. So they ended up chasing it a little bit, and it all worked out in the end anyway. But yeah, they just kind of put themselves in a situation where there was way too much math. Way too much math for my liking.
A lot of math. All right. You want to talk about the Giants at all? No?
I mean, Russell Wilson looked like a short Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Daniel Jones looked like a tall Daniel. He was good.
I mean, Daniel Jones had, this is what Daniel Jones does, is he will have a game like yesterday against a bad team, and hey, here's something. I think the Dolphins stink.
Yep.
But yeah, he'll have one of those games where you're like, wow, okay, he's turning the corner. And then the next week, he'll either get injured in the first quarter and be out 5 weeks, or he'll fumble 3 times and go 14 of 28 for 114 yards and a pick. And so I'm not all that concerned about what Daniel Jones does. He was not going to work. My problem is Russell Wilson did not look good. Like, if you're playing bad enough that my wife is watching the game and says, this guy sucks, what is going on?
You just got him.
Right. There's a problem. Yeah. Like, she likes Russell Wilson. He's with Sierra. He's got a little, he's got the same last name as us.
That's true.
No, not a fan. I know what they're trying to do. I like that they are getting Dart time on the bench to learn and grow. But I don't think that you can leave Russell Wilson in the game. Like, he just looked not good. He looked old. He looked washed up. And I know that there's going to be a lot of talk about, the offensive line didn't look good and blah, blah, blah. I hate some of that talk, because the same thing happened last year at times with Daniel Jones. Like, he doesn't even have a chance. Go back and watch the game. If you're a quarterback in the NFL with 3 seconds to throw, that's enough to get the damn ball out of your hand. And I think you're seeing probably middle of the pack offensive line right now for the Giants, because they are banged up. Andrew Thomas isn't there. When he's at left tackle, things really settle down for everybody, but he wasn't there. But so they've got a barely middle of the pack offensive line and a quarterback in Russell Wilson, who his entire career has been about what? Holding the ball. Holding the ball. And in years past, he had the athleticism and also a really good running game in Marshawn Lynch, where he could buy the time and it would give him the time to make those rainbow throws. Well, when all of that is gone, you've just got a guy that's holding the damn ball. And now he's just holding the damn ball. And a little bit of that has to be on Daboll to try and get the ball out. But some of it is on Wilson, where he's just looking around. Looking around in the pocket, at the rush. And he's looking, and it's, you can tell Malik Neighbors is frustrated already. We're 1 game in. And he's like, what the hell, man? I mean, they ran, let's see, that was 4, 7, plus 3. So they ran 10 plays inside the 5-yard line and didn't score a touchdown. That's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good. They couldn't run the ball at all. Now, listen, I think that Washington's defense is okay. I think that they made some good signings in the offseason, and they looked like they're a little bit better than last year, and they're a tough unit. They're a playoff team, but it's still, Daboll's going to have to do something, because he's not gonna last long enough.
Well, you've got choices. You've got choices.
See Dart.
Well, right, but there's the other guy too. Jameis Winston's there, and I don't know. As just a fan of football, I really like watching him play, and I really don't need to see Russell Wilson play anymore. Is there a path to get to Jackson Dart that lets us watch Jameis Winston play football for a while?
I hope so. I hope so much.
But it's such a weird situation because they're trying to save their jobs while also getting a guy ready for the future, but he doesn't get to be their future if they don't win some games. I don't know.
They at least need to be competitive. I mean, that's the thing. You got to score a touchdown, and they're just not scoring touchdowns at all. It's very frustrating. The defense, Carter looked good. First round pick from this past year. I liked what he's doing. Blocked a kick, was all over the field on defense, and they moved him around a lot. Some of the guys in the secondary was okay. They signed Javon Holland to a big deal at safety, and there was just a lot of times where the ball was being thrown downfield, and after the tackle, I'm seeing number 8, Javon Holland, get his ass up where the ball is thrown to the guy that he was guarding. He's got to be better. But the defense, 21 points to a good offense like that, you should be in the game. And, it's 14-3 in the second half, and it just never felt like they were really even close. So
all right.
It's frustrating. I think it's going to be an interesting week because I don't think that he wants to play Russell Wilson anymore, but I don't know if he fully believes in Jameis Winston. You don't
have to fully believe in Jameis Winston. You just have to recognize that the guy's going to be fun to watch, put on an entertaining product, and let me watch football that I like. That's all I'm looking for. I'm in favor of Jackson Dart's development. I'm in favor of him not going in there, but I'm also in favor of watching the guy who looks like he's still a part of the league as opposed to the Russell Wilson who, aside from a couple games here and there, has been almost irrelevant to the NFL for the last 2 or 3 seasons. I don't know. I just yuck, I guess is what I would say. It's a very weird situation that we will monitor, in part because I find it very interesting, and in part because you're a Giants fan. So we'll probably do this quite a bit. Anything else on the NFL? Well, Chiefs lost to the Chargers. That was cool. Anything else from the NFL that you want to hit before we talk about our game in UB?
Yeah, 2 quick things.
Okay.
One, again, I think the Dolphins stink, and I think McDaniel is
dead man
trouble.
walking. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's been an awful lot of off-season stuff where there's former Dolphins talking about, well, it's nice to be in a place where you can respect the coach type of thing. You know what I mean? Where his act has worn thin real fast with some of those guys in the locker room, and they just don't look good. The second thing
you can be the quirky guy when you're winning, but then once you're losing, then quirky just seems stupid, and you want a real football guy there. And I know he's a real football guy, but he just doesn't come off the same as everybody else. And you can be weird and win, but you cannot be weird and lose and have people just accept it.
Right. You can't vape on the sideline. If you're going to do it, rip out a stove and get it done like a man. I think you lose a lot of respect when you do stuff like that. Anyway, the other thing is you and I had a text back and forth last night where we were basically saying the exact same thing at the same time. And you said it earlier. Josh absolutely noticed that you left the game early, and he is not happy about it at all. Not at all. And it stood out. It stood out because unprompted in the 2 interviews that he did was the first thing that he pointed out. And I don't know. I think that's something. I mean, I'm not trying to start anything. I'm just saying, if you're fans, he's sending you a message, and it's, don't ever walk out on me again. Don't ever do that again.
You know what it is a little bit? I think everyone wants some sort of motivation, right? And there's no part of the Bills that can say no one believes in us, and they don't get to do that anymore. You can't even say nobody appreciates Josh. He's the MVP. He won the MVP. They go back a few years ago to the 13 seconds thing. They changed the rules because they're like, the world needed Josh Allen to get that football. They changed the rules because Josh Allen should have gotten the ball, or because the world wanted to see him get the ball. Everyone's eyes are on him. He's validated as the MVP. No, they haven't won the AFC yet. No, they haven't won a Super Bowl yet. But everybody knows, like, the respect factor, it's clear. Like, he came in, nobody respects me, nobody believes in me, I did no offers, all that stuff. All these teams passed on me. Ha, you laugh at this. Well, I'll show you. But that's all gone now. So looking for a new edge in the you don't believe in me, I don't think it's nuts that he looks at the fans and goes, hey, I thought we were doing something here. I thought we agreed that we're never out of it, and that I'm awesome, and we're going to be cool, and we're gonna do this together. I thought we agreed on that, and then you left. I was just about to put on the show, and you guys left. What are you doing? So, part of it, I think, is grabbing for any little bit of motivation. But yeah, it was interesting that he brought it up twice.
You get to a certain point, and I guess you have to start searching for stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe
like Jordan not being said hello to in a restaurant by the Sonics head coach,
right.
George Karl.
Now I'm going to kill him.
And it led to Jordan scoring 40 points or whatever it was the next night. I'm not saying it's on that level or whatever, but it's just, I guess if you're the MVP, you're already up there and respected. You do have to kind of figure out some way to.
Yeah, you got to pull it from somewhere. All right, let's jump to college football. UB opens at home with a 45-6 win over St. Francis, and up next is Kent State. That should be a pretty favorable matchup for the Bulls as well. I took a lot of good things out of that game, but it was not. There was nothing spectacular or flashy. It was just, this defense is legit, and they just did their job. They went in and beat an FCS team, and I mean, there were no negatives, no crazy positives, just like a business trip into UB Stadium for the Bulls. I know it's not a trip, it's a home game, but you get the point. Very workmanlike effort for UB in a 45-6 win.
Yeah, they took care of business. A team in St. Francis that was thoroughly outmatched, physically, schematically, every way possible. They went out there, immediately stepped on the pedal, 17-0 in the blink of an eye. The defense didn't give up a first down to St. Francis until just about the 2-minute warning in the second quarter. So, there was that. The points that were scored by St. Francis were fourth quarter garbage time against third, fourth stringers. The Bulls almost had on defense a pretty steady rotation of backups. It's got very, very vanilla. So, again, they were able to do whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, and looked good doing it. So that's what all you wanted to do is get that win, get out of there healthy, move on to the next game, and that's what they did. And I know that they'll probably be 20-point favorites here on the road at Kent State. Kent has not, I believe, has not won a game against an FBS opponent in 2 years. So, 2 years, the last two seasons. I think the last time that they beat one, Sean Lewis was their head coach, and they came back and pulled a comeback on the Bulls three years ago. So they're going to be heavily favored again, but it's a conference game. And I liked the way that Coach Limbo in the postgame in the locker room talking to the players talked about this game against Kent State and the way that they're looking at it, which is it's a conference game, which means that we are going in on the road for a championship game. They know how good the rest of the top of the MAC is. They're going to have to win games. And no, you cannot overlook any of these games.
Mm-hmm.
So they're approaching, if we're going to the championship game, we might as well take it right from day one. This is a championship game for this team on the road against Kent State, because you can't get there unless you go here first. And I think that they're going to be locked in. And again, it's a rare moment for the Bulls. I think this might be like the 5th time in the last 20 or so years that they had a conference game this early. It's not a common thing. They usually have those first 4 weeks are non-conference games, but it got sandwiched in there, and they're going to have to go on the road to do it. I as of right now, I haven't watched any Kent State action other than some highlights from week 1 where they needed a 100-yard kickoff return with under 5 minutes to go to win against an FCS team in Merrimack. So, and then they got absolutely plastered last week at Texas Tech. But, again, it's still a conference opponent that you have to respect and go in there to take care of business. Similar to last week, but still a little bit more dangerous than what the Bulls had to deal with in St. Francis.
Yeah, it looks like it opened at 20.5 and already has moved to 21.5 with the Bulls being favored. So Vegas said they're not going to win by 3 touchdowns, and then people went, yeah, they are. And then Vegas went, they're not going to win by more than 3 touchdowns. So that's where we're sitting right now, just a tick over a 3-touchdown favorite for the UB Bulls. Fully expect to go in there and get a win and come back 2-1 and then have a 3-game homestand, which is awesome. Really looking forward to that. And I think another blowout win. I think the loss at Minnesota got Western New York's attention a little bit. People are asking, a little bit of a buzz, going, hey, what's going on with the Bulls? They look pretty good. And then, all right, what are they doing this week? Oh, they're just playing St. Francis. Well, 45-6 gets people's attention, and I think putting up similar numbers against Kent would be pretty good for the box office, if you will, heading into a 3-game road stand. If people are starting to go, hey, what's going on in Amherst? And I think you're going to get that as you continue to add big win after big win here, and got a great chance to put up some interesting numbers, some eye-popping numbers against Kent to get a little bit more attention on there, and I feel good about that. Anything else from college? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say the Bulls' next 2 non-conference opponents that are coming up the weeks after Kent State here had a very interesting weekend.
Yeah.
You was up 2 scores with 4.5 minutes to go at Syracuse and lost in overtime. So UConn looks real good. It looks like they're going to be good again. They were good last year. It looks like they're going to be good again. And Troy, a team that, we figure is going to be a tough challenge, but wasn't necessarily something that I was focused on saying, look out. Had a 2-score lead at halftime at Clemson last week, which certainly got my attention now. So they've been the last couple of seasons in a bit of a rebuild with some new coaches down there, but it would seem like they're getting it together. So that's going to be a very interesting game as well. So the Bulls definitely want to take advantage of, they've got a lot more talent than Kent State. They got to go out there and prove it and take care of business.
Yeah.
I will say also just college football in general, like you set me up for there.
Yeah.
Tried to tell everybody to take that under in the Cyhawk game.
How'd that go?
Iowa State, under.
Yep.
Was way under because they played defense. Those 2 teams played nothing but defense, and they loved to punt. As far as some of the games that I gave you that were sneaky games, how about that catch in the Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech game?
Uh-huh.
That was pretty good. Diego Pavia's out there doing his thing, 5'9". Looks like he should be playing D3. Is just an absolute warrior. And they were able to win in Blacksburg, which is nearly impossible to do. So
I feel like I'm watching.
A real team now.
I feel like I'm watching what people told me Doug Flutie was back when he was on the Bills, and I couldn't stand him in Pavia. I would recommend to everyone, like, we're a Bills and Bulls based podcast. But as far as teams, we're going to keep an eye on. Like, for a while, we were watching the Colorado Rockies because they were so bad at baseball. Lost some interest in them once they started winning a few games. Vandy is a team that we can adopt as it. I'm not saying I care. Like, I'm not rooting for them I'm not buying a shirt. I'm not doing anything. It's just the landscape of college football. You sit down, and there are 14 different games on television at the same time. That's one of the names that's popping off the screen to me. And there were like bigger more, I guess, highly touted matchups on TV. And I was like, I think I'm going Vandy. I want to see what's happening. I turn on Vandy. Diego Pavia puts up like 3 of the first 4 plays are incredible. And then I'm writing to you to tell you how good he is. And then as I'm hitting send, that's the touchdown on the one-handed catch. It was a lot of fun watching this Commodores team play. And I recommend them as, like, you know, if there's a big, you know, top 5, top 10 matchup on TV, you watch that one. But when you're searching and all the games kind of feel like they're the same and the scores, you don't see one that's, oh, this one's a 4-point game heading with 6 minutes left, I should go to that. If you're just kind of trying to figure it out, and there's all these games there, the word Vanderbilt should jump out to you as something worth hitting yes on the remote and looking in on what they're doing. Their coach is fun, and their quarterback is just awesome to watch.
They're a MAC team that plays in the SEC.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have the funding. They don't have the boosters. They are in a pro town in Nashville. They are a fun team to root for. And they always lose. Always. And they're not with this little 5'9" quarterback who's got he's got wins over Alabama and at Auburn when he was at New Mexico State. So he's a crazy good player. I'll also throw in here West Virginia learned what we talk about all the time when we have to play the Ohio Bobcats, which is it sucks playing at Ohio. It sucks. And that doesn't just stop with us. That's if you're West Virginia or anybody, it sucks to go there and play. And West Virginia found that out because the Bobcats beat them in Peden Stadium, just like they do everybody else, because it's impossible to get there and it sucks there. And they never lose there, and they play incredible football there. It was a sellout crowd for them, and I hate the Bobcats. I don't like Ohio, but in this sense, this is good for the conference, so I'll allow it. And they stormed the field, and it was a fun environment down there. And anytime that a Power 4 team gets to play a MAC team and, they get to fly the flag and do it, we'll take it. Even if it is Ohio, we'll take it.
Yeah.
But it's fun to see that a Power 4 team learning the same lesson that we learn every other year.
Yeah, well,
it sucks.
We were at the UB game, and the West Virginia-Ohio game was going on at the same time. And once our game was firmly in hand, I started kind of flicking around, looking at scoreboards. I was like, ooh, I could watch this one. So I had that on my laptop. And the second I had it, like, I hear West Virginia at Ohio, and I think, well, that's, clearly West Virginia goes in and takes care of business. The second I had, like, visual of it, and it's on my screen, I'm like, oh, you're screwed. I know what happens here. I've seen so many games at this place, and I don't know that I've ever seen the green and white team lose. Like, they always just, I know what this looks like. I've been on this field several times. Probably be there next year. Like, I hate it. I love that town. I enjoy it. I always like the trip. But by the time we're leaving, we're always just like, I hate this place, man. I hate it. I like it until the game. And then the game happens, and it's always the same thing. And just visual evidence, seeing those two teams on the screen, I'm like, well, you're in trouble. They're Mountaineers, because this is not a good place for you to play. So, yeah, that was there. All right. I think we're done. We good?
Well, hold on. Let me give you one last
Hold on. All right, give me a last thing. Okay.
And it's going to tie together college football and the Bills.
Okay.
Do you know how old Prater is as a kicker here?
41. 41.
He's so old that he played for Central Florida when they were in the MAC.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah. That's 2 conferences ago. Maybe even 3 for Central Florida. Like, we're talking about ancient Matt Prater.
That's borderline Culpepper era. Not quite. That wouldn't quite match up, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty close. He's been around forever.
Did you see his bio that came through when the Bills announced his signing? Do you know his story?
I saw his hair yesterday.
He looked like a disaster,
after the game, and it's one of those things where if I had known, I would have gotten a haircut.
Right.
If I had known that I was going to win Sunday Night Football on Wednesday, I would have cut my hair. But instead, I'm just, I was just a dude.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun watching him get interviewed in the press conference because it's like they asked Josh, like, I met him 2 days ago, and he told me he'd, whatever we need, he'd be fine. So yeah, I like him. That was cool. But his press conference after the game was awesome because it's like everyone in the room knows the team better than he does. But he's being asked to speak as an expert because he's a member of the team, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I met those guys. They seem good. The holder was good. The snap. I don't know, man. I just kick. What do you want from me?" It was pretty cool. But anyway, when he signed with the Bills a few days ago, I should look and find it. They always do like a the Bills send a text message, and then in the text message is the link to a tweet, and then in the tweet is a photo. And it's like the page of that guy in the media guide, right? So we know he's not in a physical media guide. I don't even know if they do a physical media guide anymore, which is a book they used to issue to members of the media so you can flip through and find out everything you need to know about the team. It's probably just digital these days. But the whole like right side of it is about him like with a DUI and then testing positive for alcohol and then being suspended from the league and then being cut from his team and then going to rehab and then rebuilding his life. Like it's there's like nothing on the right side of the page about anything except for alcohol. Is this it? No, that's not it. It's incredible. It's like a whole biography written, about this guy. Here it is. Okay, ready? So on the left, it's like, where he played, shout-outs. He's fifth on the all-time scoring list, NFL records with most career field goals of 50-plus yards, most PATs in a season, all that stuff is on the left. Here's the right side. If you haven't heard, everyone deserves a second chance. In December of 2013, Matt Prater seemed limitless. After kicking a record-shattering 64-yard field goal against the Titans, Prater helped secure his team's first Super Bowl appearance since 1999. That same night, Prater tested positive for alcohol in his system after already having strikes against him for a prior DUI. The NFL's regulations on substance abuse, coupled with his history, put his dazzling future with the Broncos in jeopardy as he faced a 4-game suspension at the start of the season. Just before his next opportunity to lace up the cleats, he was released from the team. He wasn't willing to let one mistake ruin his future. With encouragement from his family and a newfound opportunity to focus on his recovery, Prater voluntarily enrolled in a rehab program in Hazelden in Naples, Florida, which partnered with the Betty Ford Clinic in February. It's one of the oldest and most reputable substance abuse treatment centers in the country. During his time in rehab, Prater strengthened his resolve to stay sober and get his life and football career back on track. After Hazelden, Prater met with the coach of the Lions to prove his dedication to the game and explain the steps he's taking to ensure alcohol wouldn't be a problem in the future. The heartfelt hour-long conversation worked. Jim Caldwell was the coach at the time, said, "I'm one who believes in second chances," noting he has also had second chances in his life that changed him for the better. Caldwell empathized with Prater and implored others to do the same. Prater takes responsibility for his actions while looking firmly ahead. Quote, "Sometimes you got to get knocked down and learn the hard way with life. I'm thankful that I have a second chance here and learn from all the mistakes I've made in the past and will not repeat them." They grabbed this chunk of information from addictioncenter.com on March 26th of 2025. And that's how they introduced their new kicker to Buffalo Bills fans. Hey, we picked up this guy. Here's his story. And I just thought it was crazy that half of the thing about this new guy was about that, as opposed to just bragging about what he's accomplished as a kicker. That said, it made me feel even better for him when he made the story, or made the kick, and becomes part of the story. But it also helped explain what he looked like with the helmet off, with the hair that way, because he looked like he just walked in from a bar across the street. I'm not saying he has relapsed. I'm saying he looked like that, and it all fit together really nicely for me. And I'm glad he made the kick. Good for Matt Prater. Good for second chances. That was 12 years ago that all of that happened, so I'm glad to have him on board. But it's a lot of information to lay on people like, hey, we just signed this guy. Here's what I think you should know about him.
He's better than Bass, right?
Yep.
Okay. That's kind of what I'm feeling too.
Yeah, my children attempted to cut Tyler Bass last night. I'm not super mad at Tyler Bass, but I'm also not super comfortable when he comes up in a critical situation. So I don't know. That's a conversation that's going to have to be had. I don't know that for sure Prater's the answer, but I don't know that for sure Bass is the answer. So it's something to think about. I don't hate that we're going to spend a month with the ability to resolve this thing. Or we have the chance to spend. He's on IR, so that's 4 games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. All right, I'm done. You done?
Yep.
All right, we'll talk again soon. Thank you, Scott Wilson. We'll record a UB football podcast sometime this week, and then we'll talk to you live on Friday. And then Saturday we'll go to Kent State, and I'll eat a bunch of donuts.
That sounds delicious.
This is the week. This is the week for the dozen Krispy Kreme donuts. How many minutes do I get for those? Is that 8?
Ooh, you know what? I don't have it here with me, but
make sure
it's 8.
Find it out. We got
Pretty
time.
sure it's 8.
Yeah, I think it's 8. 12 donuts, 8 minutes. I think I can do that. All right, we'll see. Thank you, Scott Wilson. Scott Wilson is our senior football correspondent, also our senior Hallmark correspondent, although we didn't get to the Hallmark stuff today because there's a lot of football, because the Bills won and UB won, and we're having a good start to football season. I like when things start well. I've had problems where, like, there have been years, especially when Tyree Jackson was here putting on a show and Josh Allen was here putting on a show, and it was early in Josh's career, but it tended to be like the Bulls were good and the Bills were good. So I would attend a game on a Saturday where the Bulls would use their very large, super athletic, mobile quarterback with a cannon for an arm to go out and win a game. And then Sunday, I'd watch the Bills watch their very large, mobile quarterback with a cannon for an arm go out and win a football game. And then by Monday or Tuesday, I'm trying to talk about a game, and I'm recalling plays that I think are from the Bulls game but are from the Bills game, and plays that I think are from the Bills that are from the Bulls. And the quarterbacks are big and tall and kind of the same. And, like, it was confusing. At least these were 2 very distinct, different victories. I won't confuse UB 45-6 over St. Francis with the Bills 41-40 over the Ravens in the season opener. They were very different games. Lots to talk about, certainly, in the second one. Not a ton to talk about in the Bulls game, but good weekend for Buffalo football, obviously. I'm going to play a song, and we're going to wrap things up. And there might be something. Oh, you know what? I got to do the sponsor thing. I want to do this again and thank Brian Janak for being the first sponsor here at Writer Radio. Here's what you need to know about him. He's got 20-plus years of experience in health insurance and employee benefits. He helps companies, individuals under 65, and people eligible for Medicare to find health plans that meet their budgets and their needs. And there is no cost for the services. It's all paid for by the insurance carriers. So you don't spend a dime to go improve your life and consult with our man and our sponsor, Brian Janak at the Financial Guys, 20 years of experience in health insurance and employee benefits. All right, so that's what you need to know. We want to thank Brian for being the first sponsor. 161 episodes. We got a sponsor. And we've got room for more, and we're gonna get into that, because some developments took place over the weekend with regard to the show and some contacts that were made. Feeling pretty good about where all of that's heading. But I also want to thank Brian Janak for being sponsor number. We needed one sponsor to get on board so that I can go to other people and be like, hey, this is what I'm doing for him. What can we do for you? But for now, Brian Janak reaps all the benefits. Janak. Find him at the Financial Guys. They've got a website, financialguys.com. Get all the contact information there. But it's free to talk to Brian. You should talk to Brian. Good dude. And a sponsor of Writer Radio. All right. Thank you for listening. I'm going to play a song. I think we're probably done. It'll probably be a song or two, and then the big conclusion that we tend to hit. I like Bruno Mars more than most people do, I think. More than most people my age do. I kind of want to play Bruno. I'm not going to do that. I'll play Ryan Adams instead. All right, stay tuned. You don't have to stay tuned. You can leave, whatever you want. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Oh, I do have to... I was going to bring this up with Scott, and I didn't. I'll just bring it up with you real quick. There was this disastrous sequence in the UB game for the officiating crew. It was the ref's first time doing, I don't know if it was his first time doing a MAC game or his first time doing a college game or his first time doing a UB game, but it was really interesting. First of all, he talks really funny in a sort of robotic way, and we were laughing at it during the broadcast. And then there were all of these weird sequences where there were delays to look at replays. Like we had the 2-minute timeout, and then they came back from that, and that's a long break. And they came back from that, and just when it's time to play, they're like, oh, you know what? We're going to look at that play from just before the break. They could have looked at it the whole time. It was ridiculous, and I think that was reflected in the radio broadcast. And then I went back and watched the TV broadcast, and it was hilarious on the TV broadcast too, so much so that I reached out to try to find the guy who called the game on TV, and I did. Through a mutual friend, a mutual connection. I'm now in touch with, and I don't even know if it's Anthony Lima or Lima, but Lima. He's the play-by-play guy that called this game along with former Michigan quarterback Devin Gardner. They did it on TV, and I just wanted to hear how they handled this craziness. I think tomorrow I'm going to pull the audio from what we did during this stupid delay and what the TV guys did during the stupid delay. And I actually hope to talk with Anthony because I've been texting with him about it because he agrees. It was just all-time crazy what was going on in this game. Fun little aside that I hope we'll get to tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, but I've been in touch with him too. So, yeah, lots to get to this week. Of course, the Bills will play again, the Bulls will play again. So it's football season. Do not abandon Writer Radio because you think it's just a football show now. The Bills won 41-40 against the Ravens and came from 15 points down in the fourth quarter. They scored 22 in the fourth quarter to win the game by 1 in the season opener in a year that's closing out Highmark Stadium. Yeah, guess what? The show is going to be about that today. And, there's going to be a lot of Bill stuff. But it's not just a sports show. Don't dump me because you think we're going to get away from the fun stuff and the music and all that. Football is fun, too. And when football's right in my face, that's what we're going to deal with. But it's just a part of what we're doing here at Writer Radio. All right? You understand? I hope you do. Episode 161. I think it's done. Be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock for episode 162. It's like the last game of a baseball season. 162. We had baseball all weekend. Should I tell? All right. I'll tell my quick baseball story. We had yesterday a tournament that sounded crazy to me, but turned out to be actually great. There was a tournament. So this is my 8-year-old, about to be 9-year. He's on a 9U team, but as of right now, they're all 8. So they were still playing like 8U rules. It's a 9U team for 2026. They were an 8U team this year. 8U meaning 8 and under. 9U meaning 9 and under, that whole thing. They had a tournament where it was like rapid fire. It was like speed dating, but Little League Baseball. And you played 3 games in 4 hours. Each game was only 4 innings long. So my son's team had an 8 o'clock game, a 9 o'clock game, and a 10 o'clock game. And they were all 4-inning games. In the tournament, our team won all 3 games and shut the other team out in all 3 games, which led to our team. And when I say our, I just watch them. I just root. My son and his friends. But led to a game against another team that had also won all 3 of its games and had also shut out its opponent 3 times. So this was the right matchup. Put a bunch of teams out there on the field, and these were the 2 who should play. And ended up losing that game in a walk-off situation, 6-5. But it was absolutely awesome. Like, it sounds like 4 innings is not enough for baseball. It kind of is. I wouldn't want to drive to Hamburg to play 1 4-inning game. But in a tournament setting where there are a bunch of teams around and you're just moving around diamond to diamond, it was actually really cool. It had like a speed dating musical chairs kind of vibe to it. But it was really well run, really well executed, and super cool. So if someone invites you to a 1-day tournament and you think, that sounds crazy, I don't want to play 4 games in a row. Yes, you do. They played at 8, 9, 10, and then they had to wait around for a little bit and played at 12:30 or 1 or something like that in the final game. And it was awesome. And our team didn't win, but second place is pretty good. And going 3-0 in pool play was awesome. But just a very cool thing put on out in Hamburg for the kids. All right, done with that. Playing a song. I think I'm done with the show. If I come up with something else that I need to address, I will. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow at 10. Thank you for listening to Writer Radio. I'm not even playing music. There's a thing that I forgot to talk about because I didn't consult my notes. I write down notes and things, and then I don't know, the Bills played yesterday. I don't need the notes. I'm just talking. So I forgot to look. But one of the things that I wanted to mention was the thing on SportsCenter. Somebody just sent me a picture of it. I took the same picture last night about the Bills with 4:48 left in the fourth quarter. ESPN analytics show the Bills had a 0.9 chance to win. And I just want to make this point, as I do very often in life, but not exceptionally often on Writer Radio, although I want you to know this about me. Analytics would be great if we'd stop treating them all as if they were equal. How on earth can you possibly calculate the percentage chance of the Bills winning the game with that time? You can't factor it all in. There's no chance you factored in. This is Josh Allen at home in the opener on Sunday Night Football against a team that he feels doesn't have the proper amount of respect for his. Like, you can't factor all of that in. So to say 0.9 is dumb. You can say that other teams in the history of the NFL, when trailing by this much at this point, have won this number of times, but that's not a prediction. That's not. You call it analytics. You're telling on yourself. Your ESPN, your Sports Center, behind Scott Van Pelt is a screen that says 0.9% chance to win with 4:48 left in the fourth quarter, then in parentheses, ESPN analytics. So all you're saying is ESPN analytics are way off. They don't tell you. All you're proving is that your numbers didn't make sense. And I get that percentage chance. We're saying there was only a 1% chance of this happening, and then that 1% came through. Cool. But guess what? You made up the numbers. That's not real data. Stop it. You have to have all of the information in there before you can use a formula to spit out predictive analytics. And this isn't that. This doesn't pass the test. That's pseudoscience. And pumping out pseudoscience in conjunction with actual numbers that make sense is what gives the analytics community a bad name. I know that it's 10 years ago, 5 years ago at least, when we were arguing about analytics versus, old school, blue collar, I'm a coach, I do what I want type of stuff. There's a place for both. But you can't just attach a percentage and say there's a 0.9% chance the Bills win here. Because what's the percentage if that's Trubisky? Does it go down? Or did you factor in that it's Josh Allen? I bet you didn't. If you didn't factor that in, these aren't real numbers. Stop pushing this narrative that, hey, if I've got a number here, you have to listen to me. That's crap. And ESPN puts it up on the screen behind SVP. They're talking about how amazing the comeback is. That's right. But really, all you're saying when you put up a stat that says 0.9% chance is, yeah, we had the number. We crunched some numbers here at ESPN, and we were totally wrong. We thought the Bills were screwed. They weren't. But let's put it on the screen as if the Bills accomplished something because they beat this number that we invented. They had a 1% chance here, and they did it. Well, they didn't have a 1% chance. They had Josh Allen at home in the opener. He's the MVP. And you can't just say, oh, what's your chance when the quarterback is the MVP? I don't know. What's your chance when the quarterback is the MVP, but the guy you're playing against finished second in MVP, and he's also won it twice before. And they also think this is a revenge game for what happened in the playoffs. That's not how analytics should work. So I'm tired of numbers being pushed at me as if they're facts. They're just made up stupid formulas. That's not anything. Now, this one is good. This is real. When trailing by 15 plus points in the final 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, NFL teams since the year 2000 are now 3 and 2,312. So, yeah, it doesn't happen very often. But don't give me this percentage chance of it happening. That makes no sense. Tell me that that's a statistic. That's real. This is how many times teams have won. This is how many times teams have lost. It is not predictive in nature. All right, sorry. Just a little rant that I had to go on. That's just me. I apologize. I thought the show was over. But then I got this message, and I forgot that I wanted to talk about that anyway. I'll talk to you tomorrow at 10 o'clock on Writer Radio.
What are you doing for lunch?
I don't know. I have a turkey sandwich.
We're going to go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place.
I don't know. Okay.
We brought you a shirt.
Will you get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?